So, what is American football? American football is a team sport where each team tries to score points by carrying or passing the ball to the end of the opponent's side of the field. There's a lot of biology behind football, but my target focus today are muscles, type 1 and type 2. Slow twitch muscle fibers, or type 1, are fibers in your muscles that contract slowly, expending less energy at a time in order to help with endurance. These muscles can work for a long period of time without getting tired, and they're very beneficial in activities like cycling or long distance running. Some muscles are composed of slow-twitch muscle fibers because they're required to do the same task for an extended period of time. An example of this can be the muscle on the back of your legs because they help hold your posture and stabilize your body. In football, type 1 muscles help provide athletes with stamina and endurance. Those who have strengthened their slow-twitch muscles can sustain their ability to play for far much longer. An example of a slow-twitch muscle fibers in action are defensive linemen who commonly and frequently have to participate in physical attacks against opponents
As
by
for
stabilizing their
fast-twitch muscle
positions in
fibers,
order to
or
block
type
them.
2,
They're fibers in your muscles that contract rapidly, which makes them expend more energy at a time. Fast-twitch muscle fibers are meant to perform quick and very powerful movements, and when constantly worked on, they can get stronger. They are very common in explosive exercises or activities as seen in football. These muscles contract quickly in order to generate a lot of energy and force that will allow an athlete to excel in movements that require a lot of power. These muscle fibers are important in American football because this sport requires explosive actions like tackling and sprinting. The energy needed to perform these movements is generated in the fast twitch fibers through anaerobic respiration that results in ATP production, which is when the body uses glucose that is already present in your body to make ATP. Fast twitch fibers contain less blood vessels, mitochondria, and oxidative enzymes, which makes them less able to use oxygen for energy production. In football, these fibers are crucial for football athletes as it can help the players accelerate their speed swiftly, forcefully tackle opponents, and rapidly change directions. An example of fast twitch muscle fibers in action are when a running back has to catch a ball thrown by a quarterback in order for them to take off quickly and score.
So my name is Palaman, and this is my introduction for our sesh, and I'm going to talk about the skill development, motor skills, and throwing in football, which goes into all these categories. Gross or fine skill, and throwing a football in American football primarily involves gross motor skills, though it has some elements of fine motor skills. For gross motor skills that's involved is throwing a football engages large group muscles including legs, core, back, and shoulders, and arms. Coordinating and power, throwing a football requires the whole body coordination, so the quarterback must use their legs for balance and power. While throwing a football is a gross motor skill, there are elements of fine motor skills involved in the grip of release phase, such as grip. The ability to hold a football properly with fingers placed on the laces requires fine motor control, as well as release and spin. The fine motor skills come into play during the release. Throwing a football is a gross motor skill due to the use of large muscle groups and need for whole body coordination and power. However, it is a fine motor skill in the grip and release phases, making a blend of both gross and fine motor elements. Throwing a football can be considered a close skill, since close skills are characterized by a stable, predicted environment where the person can plan their movements in advance, which you can do in football. Such as predefined mechanics, the mechanics of throwing a football involve specific techniques and body movements in football. Practice conditions during practice, quarterbacks often throw in control settings as well. For open skills in football, dynamic situations. During a game, quarterbacks must adjust their throws based on defense pressure, receive routes, and other unpredictable elements where required real-time decision-making and adaptability. Throwing a football is a close skill when considering mechanics and practice developments. However, when performed in the context of a game, open skills is due to the need for real-time adjustment in response to the changing environment. Throwing the football is considered as a serial skill. Serial skills involve a series of distinct actions linked together to form a complex movement sequence. And throwing the football involves several distinct phases with specific actions, such as grip and setup, stance and balance, wind up, stride and weight transfer, rotation and arm motion, as well as release and follow through. Throwing a football is considered a serial skill because it involves a series of distinct actions that are performed in a specific sequence to achieve a successful throw. Here shows the phases elaborated as well. Though throwing a football is generally considered internally paced skill. Internally paced skills are those where the performer controls timing, speed, and the action. Throwing a football as an internally paced skill. Quarterback control. When the quarterback throws a football, they generally decide when to release the ball based on their play, the positions of the receivers, and the defense, as well as practice and drills. During the practice sessions, quarterbacks work on their throws mechanics on their own pace. Internally paced skills during a football is defense pressure. In a game, the presence of defenders can force a quarterback to throw sooner than they might prefer. Throwing a football is internally paced skill because the quarterback controls the timing of the throws. However, in game situations, external factors like defense pressure can influence the timing, adding the nature of the skill as internally paced. Throwing a football is primarily an individual skill but can also be considered a collective skill in certain contexts. Individual skill is defined as an individual skill is performed independently without direct interaction with opponents. In football, the act of throwing a football, particularly done during practice or drills, is done by the quarterback alone. Collective skill. Collective skills are performed individually by simultaneously along with others, without direct physical interaction. In football, during a game, the quarterback throw is part of a coordination effort with teammates, such as the offense line blocking the receivers' running routes. Throwing the football is an individual skill, as the mechanics of the throw are performed independently by the quarterback. However, it has also been seen as a collective skill within the broader context of the game, where the quarterback actions are coordinated with those of teammates and must account for the dynamic environment created by the presence of opponents. This concludes my research of skill development motor skills and throwing the football, and these are my resources.
The football's internal bladder is made of 98% polyisobutylene and 2% isoprene. The butyl rubber is made by catatonic addition polymerization, where the cation changes charges to a monomer and it becomes reactive, eventually forming a polymer. The laces of the ball are made from a natural rubber called nitrile butadiene rubber. The natural rubber is made from the sap of the rubber trees found in South America, which allows the ball for a better grip. There are two types of leather: composite and natural leather. Natural leather comes from cows. Cow leather is soaked in chromium multiple times to soften the material. The leather skin is made of amino acids that combine to form a collagen. The amino acids include glycine, alanine, arginine, and proline. Most footballs are made of composite leather. Composite leather is made from leather fibers mixed up with a binding material, a cushioning agent, and softeners. The cushioning agent is usually made from natural latex, and the binding material is made from polymeric foam. Plastic football helmets are made from molded polycarbonate shells with foam padding. They also use more safety equipment that are made from a variety of plastics such as polyvinyl acetate, polyethylene, or ethylene vinyl acetate, which helps to absorb shock.